So let's get into college football playoff predictions. Obviously, I want to start it off. I kind of want to divide it where we're not going to be sitting here trying to be different, predicting the G5 games between Ole Miss and Oregon with JMU and Ole Miss with Tulane. Like we've talked about before, I said it on Twitter, the G5 schools are like mom and pop businesses. They, in terms of the local competition and the resources they're provided, they're going to have high reputation. They're going to be 5-star reviewed, but in terms of global competition and global capabilities and resources, they don't have the bandwidth to compete with these guys. And so that's where Josh Pate makes the right take and where I side with him, saying that they're playing a different sport. And it's only because of the budgetary financial NIL era of college football. So not necessarily predicting these games. We know who's going to win these football games, but do you guys advocate, and Turner, I'll give the floor to you first. Do you guys advocate for a G5 playoff that is separate from the actual college football playoff that with the top 12 teams? And do you believe that the top 12 format should be something where we have the best 12 teams in? I feel like it's common sense, but I think the more important question is, do you support a G5 separate playoff?
I do support that because realistically, look at the turmoil and all the controversy that has started because you wanted to add and be different and add group of 5 schools. Now, Chad, I'll ask you in a second about how you feel, because I feel like from a small school perspective, I feel like there's a part of you that probably want to play big school, but I'll get to that in a sec. I just don't think long term, I don't think it's a good idea, mainly because dude, we already know the prediction of the game. If it's not, then I hope I eat my words and JMU and Tulane actually put it to the teams and make them work for it. But as of right now, look, you can look at the odds. They're 21-point favorites for Ole Miss and for who's the other team they're playing? I'm already spitballing.
Tulane. Oregon,
yeah, thank
Oregon,
you. Yeah, they're 21-point favorites in both games. That's you really think that's gonna be entertaining? And those are your prime time games. You have the morning game of A&M and Miami. Then at 3:30 you have that GMU game, I'm pretty sure, and then the night game is the Tulane Oregon. And you're just sitting here, it's flipped.
Yeah.
Regardless, are you gonna watch them? I'm probably not gonna watch them because we already know the prediction of the game.
Yeah.
So there might be NFL games on, or I might go sit down to deer stand with Chad. I barely go hunting, so
yeah,
that just shows that I'm not really into those games as much as I should be. So I just don't think it's because at the end of the day, football is a business, and what do we need as a business? We need the most entertained, basically college football playoff as possible. And what does that mean? We need to have the best 12 teams within the college football playoff. Now, if you want to talk about all these teams opting out of these college football playoff game or bowl games, dude, have the group of 5 have their own playoff and then have a separate lineup there, then have the FCS playoffs on their schedule here. Dude, that feel like that just fixes everything that you need right there, because that fixes a lot of the scheduling with Georgia Southern playing who knows now, because all those teams that are opting out that are 5 and 7. So it just really answers a lot of the things that we're missing here of the teams that are opting out. It's you have scheduling for the big boys, G5, and small boys, and then D2 if you want to even throw those in there. We have everything that we need all in one happy little schedule. But Chad, I'll throw this off to you, just in a small school perspective, do you think it's good for these teams to have the opportunity to play against big schools? Or do you think that there's a party that's it's kind of unfair that they are playing big schools and they don't have the resources?
I think it just depends on the school. Because you have North Dakota State and South Dakota State who are just in Montana. You got the teams in the north, which is South Dakota State, North Dakota State, Montana State, and Montana. And then you can argue South Dakota as well. And then you have JMU, and I'm going to be biased. You have SFA. You go from just to go off what you were saying earlier. I think you have the bowl games with the the Power Four if they make the bowl game, and then you still make it 6-6. If you're 6-6, you make a bowl game. G5, make it 7-5. You make 7-5, boom, you're in a bowl game. And then FCS, make it if they don't make playoffs, the FCS playoffs. Make it an 8-4 team plays a 7-5 G5 school. Like I think that would be more entertaining than have, you know, a 5-7 Baylor versus a, 6-6 Georgia Southern. Like I'm not watching that. Like what the heck? Like, and yes, but I think it just kind of goes based off what kind of schools you have. Like SFA resource wise, no. Like I think we'd have to have a season like we just did to be considered like a bowl game thing. Like when my 2021 season, we went 8-4, and we lost to Cam Ward when he was at UIW in the playoffs. But I think that team and then this team this year, I think we could keep up with. I mean, we only lost to Montana State by 13 points or something like that. So I think it kind of depends on what kind of school plays that bigger school. Because then
Yeah.
I think that was a great idea, Chad. I think you put the high caliber FCS teams play, the 7-5 G5 schools and that big Power 4 6-6 schools. Like you just increase because then the G5 actually have something to play for. They're like, hey, if we can make it to 7-5, we can actually continue the year. But if we suck, we suck. We can't do anything. And then it actually gives them an opportunity to fight for a conference championship. I mean, Duke was 7-5 in a conference championship.
Well, here's the value add you guys are forgetting is, there's in the world of college football today, almost everybody is looking for a sponsorship. I mean, you got the
Literally.
Bucked Up LA Bowl
Yes.
or whatever. It's like, well, it didn't used to be called the Bucked Up LA Bowl. Well, you have a financial incentive opportunity to say, okay, well, in these FCS games, there's pay me games. There are opportunities to increase like revenue sharing to increase revenue, and the scholarship amounts that FCS and Group 5 teams have in comparison to the Power 4 teams is at a lesser rate. And so you're basically creating an incentive to say, well, let's add more bowl games. Let's put them at more neutral sites. Let's host these events because there is a fandom for FCS and G5 schools. So if you get a 7-5, or let's put it this way, you get an 8-4 Memphis and you play them against an 11-3 SFA at some bowl game geographically located in an area to where people want to go travel for it, and it hosts about 50,000 people in the stadium or something like that. That makes money for the new coming sponsorship. That makes you can have podcast host the thing. You can have, there's a lot of opportunities to say, let's add this into college football. And it's not a disrespect to either team, but it's a revenue sharing opportunity. And then schedule wise, you align the bowl games, these new bowl games with the like the Tarleton State playoff schedule, whatever playoff schedule that they're aligned with. And the season ends at an appropriate time. Everybody plays a competitive team. These are opportunities for FCS players to be scouted by FBS players or FBS scouts and coaches. And it gives everybody an opportunity to play more, get more exposure, and these sponsorships to get more money. It's a phenomenal idea. So
I'm so smart. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And you can clean it up to it's like, okay, if you have you don't have to get to 7-5. Maybe you can just get 6-6. Like there's some, rough around the edges stuff we can clean up.
Right.
But again, like this is part of that. I think it's going to be a focus in the off season to where I think what we're going to do as contributors and as a network is we're going to construct an entire college football season. We're going to fix college football.
Mm-hmm.
We're going back in time to take turkeys off the menu.
And just to go off what you said, like, imagine SFA playing Memphis in a bowl game, like in the revenue. We do a bowl game prediction every year. Like, guarantee you we're not the only people to do this. And I guarantee you, like, people at home during break, they're visiting family, they have nothing else to do. They're like, oh, there's a bowl game on, It's like, oh, it's not, Massachusetts versus Sam Houston State. It's 11-3 SFA versus 8-4 Memphis. Like something interesting. No offense, Ryan.
Like the thing that I really enjoy about December is Bowl Mania. Like,
yes.
They're talking about moving it towards the beginning of the year. And I'm not behind that because ever since I was a kid, I loved watching Bowl Mania in December. and just taking off Christmas break and watching football from like literally when does it start? Like the 17th all the way to almost New Year's Eve. And with like there's so much football to consume that I'm literally just sitting there rotting, eating my freaking chips like a little fatty and just watching football. It's the best thing. It's the best time ever. Like people get mad at me like, Turner, you don't do anything. Like, well, it's probably because I enjoyed not doing anything and watching this. I don't know. But
Well, all the more reason, you said bowl games, the idea of putting bowl games at the beginning of the year, and they don't have to be these random games. They could be your rivalry games. They could be your out of conference game. They could be that sort of thing. But that puts the FPS bowl games at the beginning of the year with meaning. And then that puts FCS/G5 bowl games at the end of the year with meaning. So no matter how you've split the pie, you've got meaningful bowl games in both spots. There's something to play for. There's a trophy to be had. There's exposure to be had. There's rivalries on the line in week 1, and it's viewership, it's entertainment, it's revenue share. I mean, it's all of the above. The incentives are endless.
so you're saying that
FBS bowls at the beginning of the season, FCS/G5 at the end of the season.
like with the
then you have
playoffs.
playoffs going on as well.
Gotcha. I think I do like that actually. I
Because
think
bowl
that
games are
makes
going to
sense.
be completely pointless as the FBS continues. Well, we're out of the playoffs, there's nothing to play for, and the transfer portal happens, and blah blah blah.
Well, Chad made a good point too. I think he threw out the idea that our dad made. It's like if you opt out of a bowl game, you don't get to participate in the college football playoff next year, or you're ineligible for it.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, it's kind of like hey, if you don't participate in what we do, then you don't get to reap the benefits. But at the same time, it's just like, well, it's not like a reward though. Like we get to be drenched in freaking mayo in the Mayo freaking bowl. Like whoopty freaking doodah. You win free mayo for a year. Like I don't even like
Yeah.
mayo.
It's like the players at the Pop-Tart Bowl, they got like a big ass table full of just like Pop-Tarts delivered to them. There's like, well, I'm so glad we're not participating in this. But like you have to find a way. It's in other words, blatantly obvious things that I talked about last week in the solo episode was you have to find meaning for these games, or else they're going to dissipate, they're going to be pointless, and you're going to get bad quality football. You have to find a way.